92.3 Nigeria info. I'm basically 2 weeks old. This is the 12th day. If that's the case, Happy New Year to you. And if that's not the case, well, Happy Old Year, I guess. Well, it's another week and we're hoping to make the most of it. But news never stops. So there is always, it's caused lots of political headlines. Why? Because there's an election next year. General election. It's usually the biggest in the country because you get to elect or re-elect a president. And so the year before an election year is dedicated to campaigns. So as we head deeper into 2026, you will talk a lot about politics. It will come in the form of gossip, news, and any other channel that you get your information. It will present itself. I said that to say that if you're not married yet, and you're old enough to be married, please marry before the election. I've not heard anything. I'm not saying there's doom or gloom. No. I'm just saying to be nice that you got married before the 2027 election. Right? So you can give your parents grandchildren. It's just very important. You're welcome. The big stories. Fubara says his silence is faith-driven. He urges for calm amid Rivers political crisis. ADC is blaming APC for the Rivers political instability. And the federal government and ASUU to unveil new agreement on the 14th of January, which is literally in 2 days on Wednesday, to end years of university disputes. Maybe, just maybe, we might have experienced the very last ASUU strike in our lifetime. Well, you and I will get to find out. Time will tell. At 4, we get political, but even deeper this time. The FCT minister was at Obiakpo local government area, of course, his literal ancestral home. And he had a lot of things to say, just like he had a few things to say with the other local government areas that he visited. This tour of River State, which has ended, was tagged a thank you visit to different communities. But when he got home, he said that the president very much has the right to fire him if he's not satisfied with his conduct, but that the critics have nothing on him. So at 4 o'clock, we will get to analyze the statement of the FCT minister. And the question is simple. Are the calls for the sack of Wike justified? That's what we'll discuss at 4. And coming up at 5, we'll be looking at the health sector. Renowned Nigerian author Chimamanda lost her son, and she alleges hospital negligence. Well, she has served the hospital a legal notice. She's taking them to court. I'll have a medical practitioner join me to discuss what patients should do in response to medical negligence. These conversations make up hard facts for today. So stay with me. Because let's face it, where else would you go? So stay. do here. We begin at the beginning, but before we get there, a special shout out to the Super Eagles of Nigeria. My goodness, they have and are still making us proud. I said for the first time in a long time, I've had countless moments of pride as a Nigerian. But these are reminders of, well, why it's great to be Nigerian, support the country. Lots of things not working, yes, indeed. I'm certain they outweigh and outnumber the good things. But every once in a while, you're reminded of how fortunate you are to be Nigerian. I don't have as much football knowledge as others, and of course, my colleagues in sports. But I know enough to understand when a team wins, when others losing. And there was a bit of a tension heading into the game against Algeria, because I've heard the North Africans are quite clinical, right? And I even felt maybe we would not win the game. But my goodness, oh, Lord have mercy. I saw that game and I was like, wait a minute. What was I scared of? The Algerians were outplayed, outclassed, maybe even outnumbered. I feel like if you had counted the Super Eagles, there were possibly more than 11. Because that was an injustice. This is the kind of thing you see in PlayStation. And right, we just scored 2 goals. But how does a team play a game for 90 minutes without one shot on target? I've never seen that in real life. I've never seen a real game. I've seen that in PlayStation, but I've never seen a real game where that happened. And I don't know if it's common. Maybe those who follow football, tell me. But the Algerians did not have one shot on target for the entire game. I am proud to be Nigerian. And I don't know what the Moroccans are like, because they're the ones we're meeting next. But the Super Eagles have done well. Well done to them. And I hope that they go all the way. This could be consolation for missing out on the World Cup. All right, let's go from football and Nigerian pride to politics in Rivers State. And we begin at the beginning, at the top, of course, with the governor, Sir Simonalayi Fubara, who says his silence amid the ongoing political crisis is guarded by his faith in God. Governor Fubara made this known during a special interdenominational church service held on Sunday to mark the 2026 Armed Forces Celebration and Remembrance Day at St. Cyprian's Anglican Church, Port Harcourt. He calls for calm, assuring that his administration will continue to work to sustain peace in the state.
When we were marking the New Year dinner, I said something that dogs bark when they don't understand. And that's the reason why I don't shout, I don't complain. I know what I have. I know that I have what is supreme, and that is God. So I want everyone to be relaxed. What is important is peace for this dear state, and we'll get it by the special name of God.
Okay, I think that after his political career, the governor of Rivers State should just be a UN ambassador for peace. Because if I count how many times I've heard the word peace from him, and I was giving money for every time, I don't think I'll be working here with you. Like, we will not be on the same level. Because Nigerian folk cannot afford me at that point. I'll be filthy rich. Yes, indeed. But let's keep going. In her remarks, the Deputy Governor, Professor Ngozi Odu, acknowledged the sacrifices of fallen heroes and heroines, as well as veterans present at the service, describing their sacrifices as invaluable to the nation.
I want to thank all of you, and I want to thank God that we are alive today to remember and celebrate the heroes, fallen heroes and heroines, and the legionnaires that are here. Our Father, Most Reverend, Blessed Eyindas, encapsulated everything by saying that we are each and every one of us remembered by what we have done.
Okay, that's amazing. In his sermon, the Archbishop of the Niger Delta Province and Bishop of the Ikwere Diocese, Most Reverend Blessing Eyinda, commended Governor Fubara for his consistent support for the armed forces. He urged leaders and citizens to live lives that build a legacy of, once again, peace, love, and service to God and humanity. That's quite commendable. If you were not following the news, you wouldn't know that those two characters were up for an impeachment, that their matter is currently being deliberated on the floor of the State House of Assembly. But it is what it is. As time elapses, destiny unfolds, and we get to talk about it. And of course, we get to live it, experience it, and it affects us one way or the other. But there is what is, and that's the news. Then there is what I understand it to be. That is my analysis. And we've heard peace from the governor countless times. This is usually the position he holds. Makes statements here and there, but of course talks about how being passive is the response to his many troubles. And as a Nigerian, there are two ways to look at what he has said, right? And this is my understanding. When somebody says, I'm not responding because of, for lack of a better form of expression, because of God. That's the way to put it, right? He says his silence is faith-driven. It could mean two things. It could mean I will not pursue the path of resistance, confrontation, and violence because I'm naturally a calm person. Or I will not be aggressive because God is holding me back. If nobody say God say make I know deal with you, you foresee my true color. So there are two ways to look at it. If you really think about it, now because of God I know the answer you could mean, well, I'm naturally a calm person. No matter what you do, I just would not pursue